Okay, and welcome to the latest PCSA Maths revision video, this time on inequalities. Now I'm going to whip through this topic today because it's fairly simple, just a few rules that you need to remember. In this particular topic, you need to remember that in inequalities, we're looking for a given number or a given range of numbers that follow a certain rule. Now in this example here, we need to remember that this sign means greater than, is greater than. So in this inequality, x, or the number represented by the letter x, is greater than 2. So for example, the answer could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, because all of these numbers are greater than 2. Now this symbol here means is greater than or equal to. So again, for this value of y, we're looking for numbers that are greater than or equal to minus 3. So it could be minus 3 because y could be equal to minus 3. But it also could be greater than minus 3. Numbers that are greater than minus 3 are minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. Now, the opposite is true as well, that this symbol means is less than. So the numbers represented by this letter A have to be less than 1. They can't be 1, they have to be less than 1. So A could be 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. And again, this symbol here, if we add an extra line underneath, means is less than or equal to. So in this version here, the letter B could be represented by any numbers that are less than or equal to minus 9. So it could be minus 9, but it could also be minus 10, minus 11, minus 12, etc., etc. So the key things we need to remember are that these symbols mean is greater than or equal to. So or equal to is when we have the additional line. And the way I like to think about it is that the larger number has the larger number of points next to it. Okay, that's just one simple way of remembering it. Now, a question that you might be asked is you might be asked to match an inequality with a diagram that it represents. Now, the things that we need to understand here, that if we see an open circle, it means that the number that is next to is not included. So an open circle, not included. So an open circle is not. But a closed circle or a filled-in circle means that number is included. So for example, in this here, we're looking for a number, or the numbers on a number line, x is greater than 0. So we're looking for x values that are greater than 0. So this one shows us that it's not 0 because it's an open circle, which means not, but it's greater than. So all of these numbers on this line, so the line represents the numbers that x could be. So all of these numbers could be, because 1 is greater than 0, 2 is greater than 0. Now, in this inequality here, x is greater than or equal to 1. So our starting point is going to be a 1, so looks like it's going to be this one here, and this filled in circle means that x could be 1, so it could be 1, but we're also looking for the numbers that are greater than 1, so x is greater than 1, so that would link up here. Now in this particular inequality, x is less than or equal to 2. So the first thing we do is we look, well, is there one that has less than or equal to 2? So do we have any start point that is 2? Yes, we do. And again, less than or equal to 2. So again, the x value could be any of the numbers along this line, and it's a filled-in circle because it's less than or equal to. And for the last one, obviously, process of elimination, x is less than minus 1. Again, less than, so it can't be minus 1. It has to be less than minus 1. And again, any number on this line counts. So if we were to put that knowledge into practice, and we were asked, for example, in this question, n is an integer. Now again, we know that an integer means a whole number. Write down all the possible values of n. So this is a typical examination question. Try it yourself first of all. Well, in this one, all the possible values of n is greater than or equal to minus 3, so it could be minus 3, but it also has to be greater than minus 3, so it could be minus 2, it could be minus 1, it could be 0, it could be 1, and this symbol here tells us that it's less than 2. So it can't be 2, it has to be less than 2. So the nearest whole number that it can be is 1. So these are our answers. Again, we should really put them on our number line. And in this question here, write down the inequalities represented on the number line here. Now again, we know that an open circle means that the number that it's next to is not included. So this -1 here is not included. So the numbers represented on this line are going to be 0, because that's on the line, 1, 2, and can we include 3? Yes, we can include 3 because it is a closed circle, which means that that 3 is included. Okay, and again, there's the last question we're going to look at here is a solve question. Sometimes you'll be asked to solve inequalities. Now, one of the golden rules when we're solving inequalities is always keep the inequality symbol facing the same way. Now, what it means by solve is it wants us to find out what the y value equals, or what the y value is represented by in the inequality. And we just do it exactly the same as solving an equation. What are the rules of solving an equation? Well, we get all our numbers on one side and all our letters on another side. And then we try to cancel down to find a letter on its own. So my first step in this particular solve would be, I can just imagine that this inequality symbol here is an equals. So the first thing I would do is I'd try to get rid of this -2. How do I get rid of -2? Well, I add 2. And if I add 2 to both sides, I'm left with 3y on this side is greater than or equal to, so I'm adding 2 is greater than or equal to -6. So what's my next step going to be? I've got 3y, I want to find out what 1y is, so I divide by 3. If I got 3y divided by 3, I'm left with y, and if I've got -6 divided by 3, I'm left with -2. So solution to my inequality is y is greater than or equal to -2. And that's it. 2 easy marks. Okay? Again, when we're faced with solving inequalities, just deal with it in exactly the same way as a normal equation, but just make sure we leave the inequality symbol rather than an equal sign. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this question here to do. Again, write down all possible values of n. That should be a -2, so n is greater than -2, less than or equal to 4. And again, solve the inequality here. Simple linear equation that you should be able to follow. Okay, any queries, remember to tweet us at PCSA Maths. Happy learning. Bye-bye.